Hey everybody, thank you so much for checking the channel out today. Today we're going to learn about protectionism. What it is not, if it's good, if it's bad. I'm going to tell you my 2 cents, and then I want your 2 cents in the comment section below. My name is Agabus. This is your financial education channel. Let's start off with some basic definitions. We're over here at Investopedia.com. Protectionism is government policies that restrict international trade to help domestic industries. So let's break this down here. There is a macro world view of protectionism as well as a local city view of protectionism. We're going to start on the local view here. Protectionism on the local scale. Let's say that there are 2 bars in your city. Bar number 1, bar number 2. And bar number 1 is realizing that their business is shrinking or not competing as well as bar number 2. So they have 2 options. Bar number 1 can decide, well, we're going to provide better service, better products, cheaper prices, better atmosphere. They can figure out some way to compete with bar number 2 in order to drive customers to their bar. Instead, they are going to call up their friend the mayor and request that new laws get put in place to protect their business, bar number 1, versus the second bar. So the owner of the bar calls up the mayor, and they put in place new rules that says every bar in town must pay a minimum wage, must have a certain amount of items that they're able to provide, must have a certain type of oven that they're offering for their pizzas, whatever the law might be. But the first bar, because they're buddies with the government, decides they're going to put these new laws in place that every other bar now must use. So with these new protectionist policies in place, bar number 2 may be doing phenomenal, may have great service, great products, great prices. However, they don't have the newest and greatest oven that the new law requires, or they don't offer how many services, how many products that bar number 1 offers because they're a smaller establishment. So with these new regulations, bar number 2, which was doing very well, starts to lose business, starts to go under, because now under these new sets of regulations, they're just not able to compete versus bar number 1. So bar number 2 goes under and goes out of business. My definition of protectionism, if I break it down, is really governments, macro or local, providing and showing favoritism for one industry or one business over the other. Looking at this on the world macro view, protectionist types of policies could be implementing tariffs, which are taxes imposed on imported goods, quotas, which are restrictions on how much those goods can be imported into your country, subsidies could be negative taxes or tax credits given to the local domestic producers, or standardization. Again, the country may have some sort of new rules or laws that says any imports must follow this ABC law or ABC rule in order to compete against the locals. Now, in all cases of economics, there are both good and bad, pros and cons of these protectionist policies. I tend to lean on the side that they're more often disadvantageous to the locals and to the foreign importer goods, but you tell me your thoughts in the comment section below. Advantages of protectionism. Well, some would say that there's more growth opportunities for the local businesses. There could be regulations in place abroad that maybe a local company is not able to compete against. So it's a way to show favoritism to the local business. Lower imports. It could be that we don't want to have certain products or certain quality of products from other countries imported into the US or imported into your country. We could argue that maybe there are higher jobs locally here, because if you don't have the competition from overseas, you can have more manufacturing, more goods, more services created in the domestic space. And it could boost higher GDP. if these policies are protecting the local business, which may increase the GDP due to the domestic production. Disadvantages of protectionist policies. They would say that there's stagnation in advancements. The stagnation could be that without free trade, without competition, the idea of advancing your product, your service, your prices, there's just not as much incentive to do that. Now there's limited choices. You may only have the option to buy locally from the local domestic producers compared to some international producers. Increasing prices typically happens when you lower competition. Competition tends to breed excellence. Competition tends to breed lower prices in the market. And if a country does put in too much of protectionist policies, it could lead to an economic isolation or economic stagflation because everything is now being done local, so you're restricting your residents from having the products of those international producers. Now, if you're all wondering, well, which countries have some of the largest tariffs? As of 2016, some of the lowest tariffs are the United States compared to some of the other countries here. The tariff wars, trade wars were very big under the Trump administration. They haven't been so much used under the Biden administration, or at least the media would tell us that. But it may come up again with the new election process here coming up next year. Again, I'm not a huge fan of them. I do see there are some pros and some cons, but you tell me, what do you think about protectionist policies, implementing trade tariffs, adding additional taxes to imports, protecting local domestic producers, or in city examples, favoring one city's business over the other? I would love to know your thoughts. Drop your comment in the comment section below. Thank you so much for listening to the end. As always, stay inquisitive, stay informed, and stay subscribed for more. We'll see you tomorrow.